Welcome you all to this new lesson of circuit theory. Today we'll be discussing about different basic rules. Uh, in last few classes we discussed about some rules of circuit theory which are used to solve practical problems. In addition to that, some other rules will be discussed today, such as voltage and current divider rule. How can we convert a voltage source to current source and vice versa? That is source transformation. And also we'll be discussing about concept of open circuit and short circuit. So let us start with the topics to be covered in today's class. First, we'll be discussing about current divider rule, then voltage divider rule. After that, we'll be discussing about source transformation, and at last, we'll be discussing about concept of open and short circuit. So, what is current divider rule or voltage divider rule or source transformation? All this will be discussed in elaborately in later slides. But before that, let me tell you our main objective in this subject under this subject is to analyze or calculate current through a particular branch or voltage across a particular branch so that we can build our circuitry accordingly. So current divider and voltage divider rule, these two rules will allow us to determine current through a particular branch or voltage across a particular branch. Say you want to determine voltage across this branch. So if you want to measure voltage across this branch or calculate voltage across this branch, you need to know how much current is flowing through this branch. Say I current is flowing through this branch. That means voltage across the branch will be 10I. So to determine voltage across a branch, a current is needed. Or you can directly get voltage across this branch using voltage divider rule. So we'll be discussing about these two rules in order to calculate voltage across a branch or current through a branch in a complex circuit. Now, current divider rule is applicable for some certain circuitry. Voltage divider rule is applicable for some certain circuitry. So what are those? Those will be discussed elaborately. Next is source transformation. Sometimes it is needed. In last lecture, I told you that for if two practical voltage sources are connected in parallel, we need to convert them into current source. So for our simplicity of calculation, sometimes we may need to convert voltage sources in terms of current sources and vice versa. That we'll be discussing under source transformation topic. And lastly, we'll be discussing about concept of open and short circuit. What happens if a circuit gets opened? What happens if a circuit gets shorted? That we'll be discussing. You frequently encountered the term short circuit happened due to lightning. So what is that? That we'll be discussing in today's class. So let us move to next slide and start with current divider rule. See, current divider rule is applicable in parallel circuits. Suppose there is a voltage source applied. Say a DC voltage source is applied here. Whenever a voltage source is applied, due to presence of these resistances, a current will start flowing through this path. Say this current is I. Now when this current comes to this point, say this is point A. When current comes to this point, current will get two different paths to flow to the negative terminal. Of supply voltage. So one is green path, another is red path. So as current is getting two different paths to flow, so the main current, it can be said the main current will get divided in two different paths. Now, the calculations or the rule involved in calculating current through this path or current through this path is known as current divider rule. As the main current gets divided into different currents, and the and as this rule involves in determining the current through each path, so it is termed as current divider rule. How much current gets divided into different paths, that could be calculated using this rule. So for series circuit, as you all know, for series circuit, current does not get divided. So there is no question of getting current division. Hence, current divider rule will not be applicable for series circuits. It is only applicable in parallel circuits. Now, as per current divider rule, see, this is I1 current. This is I2 current. Now, I1 and I2 currents are divided current, and I is the main current. So main current I gets divided into I1 and I2. Now the rule or formula associated with calculation of I1 is this one, and calculation of I2 is involved associated with this formula. Now, if you observe here, I1 current is flowing through R1 resistor. I1 current is flowing through R1 resistor, and I2 current is flowing through R2 resistor. Now, this formula says I1 equals to, that is current through R1. Current through R1 is equals to total current I, which is getting divided, this total current. I1 equals to total current I, which is getting divided into the opposite resistance. See, I1 is current through this path. So which one is opposite resistance of R1? That is R2. So R2 will be in numerator divided by sum of the resistances, R1 plus R2, divided by sum of the resistances. So as per current divider rule, current through a particular branch is equals to total current, which is getting divided, multiplied by opposite resistance. R1 is the current, R1 is the resistance through which current is being determined. So R2 is considered here as opposite resistance, which will be in numerator, divided by sum of the resistances. Okay. Similarly, I2 equals to, I2 can be calculated as total current I multiplied by opposite resistance is R1 now. As I2 is being determined, so R1 is opposite resistance, which will be numerator, divided by sum of the resistances. Okay. Now let us derive these equations. How can you get these equations? See, it is very well known to us that for a parallel circuit, as R1 and R2 are connected in parallel, so voltage across these two resistances will be same. Now if V volts is applied here, voltage across this is V. Now if V volt is applied here, this supply voltage R1 and R2, as discussed earlier, are connected in parallel. So voltage across R1 will be as same as voltage across R2, which is equals to V. So that is why it is written that voltage across these elements, it is shown that voltage across these two elements are V. So voltage across this R1 is V. Current through R1 is I1. So as per Ohm's law, I1 equals to V by R1. Similarly, as per Ohm's law, I2 equals to V by R2. Now, as these two resistances are connected in parallel, we know formula for parallel resistances, equivalent resistance formula is 1 by Req equals to 1 by R1 After simplification, we'll get after simplification, we'll get this. So Req equals to R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. So here equivalent resistance of this circuit is R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. So if two resistances are combined in parallel, equivalent resistance will be R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. So this is clear now. Now I equals to what? I equals to total current. Total current should be equals to total voltage divided by total resistance. So total current I equals to total voltage V divided by, this should be I equals to, I should be equals to, here Req is mentioned by R. Now see, as R equals to R1 R2 by R1 plus R2, so I equals to V by R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. So I equals to this. Okay. Now I equals to what? I equals to I1 R1 into this. How can we write this? See, I equals to V into R1 plus R2 by R1 R2. This is known to us now. Now I equals to, from this equation you can write I equals to V equals to what? V equals to I1 R1 or V equals to I2 R2. So let us first substitute this V by I1 R1. From this equation, substitute V by I1 R1. So V equals to I1 R1 into R1 plus R2. This R1 plus R2 is placed here, divided R1 R2. So simply what have we done? First, we have calculated individual current, total resistance. Now total current equals to total voltage divided by total resistance. So this is the total current. Now substitute V by I1 R1. You will get I1 R1 into this. Now this R1 will be cancelled. So finally you will get I1 equals to this. From this equation, this R1 will be cancelled. So I1 equals to I into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Similarly, while to find equation for I2, substitute this V by I2 R2. So once this is substituted by I2 R2, what will happen? V is substituted by I2 R2 into R1 plus R2 by R1 R2. Now R2 R2 will be cancelled. So it will be, this should be I2. This should be I2 by R1 into R1 plus R2. So I2 equals to I into R1 by R1 plus R2. This equation. So this is known as current divider rule. To remember this current divider rule, remember that if you want to find current through R1, then opposite resistance R2 will be in the numerator. Similarly for I2, when you are finding current through R2, opposite resistance R1 will be in the numerator. Okay. So now let us discuss about voltage divider rule. Achha, before discussing voltage divider rule, let us discuss validate current divider rule by a simple parallel circuit. Say it is mentioned that in this question it is given that total current is 30 ampere. Now if this is 2 ohm resistance and this is 4 ohm resistance, what will be current through these two branches? Say this is I1. This is I1. So I1, formula for I1 equals to I into R2. Now see, this is the formula for I1, where R1 is this one and R2 is this one. So just substitute the values. I equals to 30 ampere, total current is 30 ampere. So total current is 30 ampere placed. Now R2 equals to what? 4 ohm. In numerator there is 4 ohm. In denominator it will be R1 plus R2. So 2 ohm plus 4 ohm. That is 6 ohm. So I1 is this. Similarly for I2, in numerator there should be R1. While finding I2, this should be R1. R1 is 2 ohm. So in numerator there is 2 ohm. So only the change between these two is in the numerator resistance. Clear? Okay. Now, if you have 3 resistors, if you are asked to find, suppose this is I current. If you are asked to find current through this branch, what shall you do? You keep this intact. You combine these two parallel resistances into a single one. Then it will look like, isn't it? This resistance is this one, and this is parallel combination of first and third resistance. So now it has been reduced to 2 resistances. Now apply current divider rule, you'll get your answer. So if more than 2 resistors are there, combine all the other resistances except the resistance through which current is to be determined, and once all the other resistances are combined to a single one, you will get 2 parallel resistances, and now you can apply current divider rule easily. Okay. Now voltage divider rule. Voltage divider rule is applicable in series circuits. As we know, for parallel circuit, voltage remains same. So there is no question of voltage getting divided. So voltage divider rule will only be applicable in series circuits. Now, as you all know, for series circuit, current remains same. So for different values of resistances R1 and R2, voltage will be different across these resistors. So E1 is voltage across R1, E2 is voltage across R2. What should be I? I equals to total voltage E divided by total resistance. Total resistance means these are connected in series. So R1 plus R2, for series combination, it should be added. Okay. And E equals to what? Total voltage gets divided in two resistors. So E equals to E1 plus E2. E1 equals to what? E1 is voltage across this. Current through this path is I, and resistance of this path is R1. So E1 equals to IR1. So from these two equations, by substituting I in this equation, what will we get? E1 equals to I means E by R1 plus R2. So E by R1 plus R2 into R1 into R1. Similarly, you can get E2 equals to this. So what can we conclude here? E1, that is voltage across R1, equals to total voltage E multiplied by that resistance through across which we are measuring the voltage. In case of current divider rule, I1 was equals to total current into opposite resistance. But in case of voltage divider rule, V1 or E1 equals to total voltage E multiplied by that resistance across which voltage is to be determined, divided by sum of the resistances R1 plus R2. Same for E2. Now let us solve a simple problem. These two are two resistances connected in series and connected across 1000-volt source. Now V1 equals to what? V1 equals to total voltage multiplied by that resistance. V1 is voltage across R1. So multiplied by that resistance divided by sum of the resistances R1 plus R2. So R1 plus R2 is mentioned here as RT. So R1 is 1 kilo ohm, R2 is 999 kilo ohm. So RT will become 1 plus 999, that is 1000 kilo ohm. R1 is 1 kilo ohm placed here and VT is 1000 volts. So V1 is 1 volt. Similarly, you can find V2 equals to 990 volt, 999 volt. So from this, what can you conclude? This very simple observation that if the resistance value is less, then voltage across the resistor will be less. If the resistance value is high, then voltage across the resistor will be high. So you will always get more voltage across the resistor which is having large value of resistance. Now let us come to source transformation. See, as I said, a practical voltage source should possess some internal resistance within it. Now this part is the practical voltage source and this is the load. This green circle shows the load RL. Now the same voltage source, practical voltage source, can be converted to a practical current source, whereas the load resistance will remain same. So how can we make this conversion? That we are going to discuss. For our calculation simplicity, voltage source with series resistance can be converted to a current source with parallel resistance and vice versa. So how it can be done, that we'll be discussing. First, let us discuss this point. A practical voltage source can be converted to a current source or vice versa. In the above circuit, a practical voltage source and a practical current source are shown. This practical voltage source and practical current source are enclosed by this dotted box. Both are connected across same load resistance RL. While making this source conversion, the load, current through load or voltage across load should be unaffected. That is why it is mentioned current through load in this case is IL. Current through load in this case is also IL. Voltage across the load is VL. Here also it is VL, which implies voltage and current across the load or through the load should never be affected during this source conversion. So without affecting the voltage across load or current through load, we may make the conversion from voltage source to current source. And it is very well observed that the voltage source with series resistance can be converted to a current source with parallel resistance. Now, what should be the value of this current source during the conversion? Magnitude of this current source should be the voltage source which is being transformed see Is should be equals to Vs by Ri, where Vs is the voltage source which is being transferred to current source, and Ri is internal resistance. So why Vs by Ri, that we'll discuss in next slide. Also we'll discuss why this series connected resistance with the voltage source after conversion becomes in parallel with the current source. That we'll be discussing. Okay. In the first case, for the voltage source, in the first case, IL equals to what? Current through this path, Ri and RL both are connected in series. So IL equals to total voltage Vs divided by total resistance, that is Ri plus RL. This is IL. And what is VL? See, for series circuit, voltage, output voltage or load voltage VL can be found out by voltage divider rule. So VL equals to total voltage Vs into that resistance, that is RL, through which across which we are determining the voltage. So VL, to determine VL, this in the numerator there should be RL divided by sum of the resistances as per voltage divider rule. Okay. Now for this second circuit, if the circuit remains like this is Is and Ri is in parallel with Is, then what should be IL? IL equals to, as per current divider rule, as this parallel circuit, so total current Is will be divided into different currents. So IL equals to total current Is. So IL equals to total current Is. While finding IL, that is current through RL, opposite resistance is Ri. So opposite resistance Ri will be there, divided by Ri plus RL. Okay. So this is as per current divider rule. And as this is parallel circuit, so voltage across RL, voltage across Ri will be same. Now what is VL? VL equals to IL into RL. So VL equals to IL. IL means this one. Is into Ri by Ri plus RL. This is IL into RL. So VL equals to IL into RL. Okay. Now comparing these two equations, as I said earlier, that during making this conversion from voltage source to current source, output voltage and current should never be affected. So IL in this case and IL in this case should remain same. So let us equate IL of equation 1 and IL of this equation. What will you get? See, in denominator I plus RL, in denominator I plus RL. So Is equals to, by comparing these two equations, Is equals to Vs equals to Is into Ri. So Is equals to Vs by Ri. So this Is should be Vs divided by Ri. That is why I mentioned in last slide that Is should be source voltage which is getting transferred divided by that its internal resistance. Okay. Same equation you can get from voltage by equating VL as well. So that is why while making conversion from voltage source to current source, voltage source is in series with the internal resistance, but current source should be in parallel with the internal resistance first. Second is the magnitude of Is should be equals to Vs by Ri. Now, what is the concept of open circuit, short circuit, or closed circuit? See, in first case, this is closed circuit. Whenever we used to turn on a switch of a fan, what happens? In our domestic appliances, all those are AC. There is a switch which we need to press. Suppose this is the fan. Initially, see, initially this point and this point, these 2 points are not connected. Switch is open. Now, just after closing the switch, switch gets closed means these 2 points gets connected. So a current will start flowing through this path. So this is the concept of open circuit and closed circuit. Switch may make the circuit closed, and whenever the circuit is closed, current will be flowing through the load and consequently bulb glows. But if you make switch opened, so see here, there is no connection, so current cannot get any path to flow and bulb will remain off. So this is concept of open circuit. Now what is concept of short circuit? See, closed circuit and short circuit, these two are not same. There are a huge difference between these two. This is a closed circuit. This is a closed circuit. So bulb should glow until and unless this path is not there. But whenever we connect this path can be connected as by a thick wire. If these 2 points are connected by a thick wire, what will happen? No current will be flowing through this path. Actually, what will happen? A current will be flowing through this path. Now, when current comes to this point, it will flow entirely through this path. No current through this, no current will be flowing. Why? Why? As this is shorted, can you see any resistance in between these two? Is there any resistance in between? No. So the resistance of this path is 0. And as bulb is connected here, say it has a resistance of R, 1. Now, as per current divider rule, current through R1, that is I1. So I1 equals to what? Total current I. This is, suppose this is total current I. Total current I into, we are finding current through R1. So which one is opposite resistance? This shorted path resistance, which is 0, divided by 0 plus R1. This gives us 0. So I1 becomes 0 whenever there is a short circuit path. So short circuit path means current will flow entirely through that path. No current will be flowing through the load. So what will happen when entire current flows through this path? So current through this path I can be theoretically written as, suppose this voltage is V, and in this path, as it is shorted path, you cannot see any resistance here. So V by R. So current will be infinity theoretically. So infinite amount of current means a very huge amount of current. So during short circuit, a very huge amount of current flows through the circuit, which may cause a damage to the circuit. Everywhere should have its own tolerance. So if infinite or very huge current flows through the wire, a huge heat loss will take place and the wire may get damaged or the supply may get damaged. That is why it is recommended to protect the circuits from short circuit. Okay. So this is up to this. Under this lesson, we discussed about voltage divider rule, current divider rule, applications of voltage and current divider rule, and we also discussed about concept of short circuit and open circuit. In next class, we'll be discussing some numericals on basic concepts of electric circuits. Till date, in first 5 classes, we discussed about various terminologies, basic concepts, different rules of electric circuits. Now, together, all those knowledge will be applied to solve practical problems. So in next couple of classes, we'll be discussing about some numericals so as to make a clear understanding about electric circuit. Okay. So see you in next class. Thank you for the day.